The reality of how El Chapo's sons turned Sinaloa into a war zone. In this world there are some families that are dedicated to family businesses, such as a restaurant or a clothing store. Then, there is the Guzman family. A family that has made violence, bullying and drug their way of life. Welcome, today we will talk about the offspring of one of the most powerful and ruthless drug traffickers in the world, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. But this is not just a story of a man and his family. It is a story of business, power and violence that have shaken an entire country. How far will crime families go to protect their interests and maintain control? In this video, we'll explore how the El Chapo dynasty has taken violence to an even more terrifying level in Sinaloa, unleashing a war in which thousands of people have died. Join us on this journey into the dark world of organized crime and discover how this family's business can have deadly consequences for all who cross their path. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman Lora had children with 3 different women. Officially, he has 10 children, 4 with Maria Alejandrina Salazar, 4 with Griselda Lopez Perez, and 2 with Emma Coronel Ispiro. However, according to some media, he could have up to 23 children in total. They have become famous for their connections to drug trafficking. Some of them have even been wanted by the DEA and other international organizations. In this video, we will focus on Ovidio Guzman Lopez, son of El Chapo Guzman, who has been captured by the US government for his important role in the Sinaloa Cartel and how this has sparked a full-scale ground war in early 2023. Ovidio Guzman Lopez, known as El Raton, is one of the sons of El Chapo Guzman who has been mentioned the most in recent news. On Thursday, January 5, 2023, he was captured by the United States government, who have information that he has an important role in the Sinaloa Cartel according to the Treasury Department. It is worth mentioning that this is not the first time that Ovidio has been arrested. In 2019, he was also captured by the Mexican authorities, but was released shortly after due to the violence unleashed in the city. It is said that all of Culiacan was besieged by drug traffickers, which resulted in various bombings and a massacre that year. The arrest of Ovidio Guzman Lopez has generated much controversy, as some media have reported that his father, El Chapo Guzman, started a campaign of violence in the city of Culiacan, Sinaloa, to pressure the Mexican government for his release. Apparently those in charge of leading the first liberation campaign were the same children of Chapo in 2019. But who are the other children of El Chapo Guzman? Let's start with the children of Maria Alejandrina Salazar, Jesus Alfredo, Ivan Archivaldo, Alejandrina Giselle and Cesar. Jesus Alfredo and Ivan Archivaldo are known as Los Chapitos, and are wanted by the DEA. Ivan Archivaldo is presumed to be the spoiled son of El Chapo and, along with his brother, would be in charge of their father's empire. Alejandrina Giselle was arrested for drug trafficking but, after her release, she became the owner of the clothing brand Chapo 701 and other companies that seek to extol her father's figure. On the other hand, Cesar would not be linked to his father's business and is dedicated to the pharmaceutical industry, medical services, school and office supplies. As for the children of Griselda Lopez, in addition to Ovidio, it is known that she had other children, some of whom are believed to have followed in her mother's footsteps in the world of drug trafficking. Griselda Lopez's children is fascinating and full of unexpected twists. As we delve into his life and criminal activities, we realize that the line between good and evil is often blurred in the minds of this family. The figure of Griselda Lopez Perez, mother of Ovidio Guzman, has been somewhat enigmatic and unknown to many, until now. Following the recapture of her son, alias El Raton, a surprising detail has been revealed: she would be paying for the funerals of the hitmen who faced the armed forces in the bloody confrontations that hit Jesus Maria, Culiacan and other regions for 3 days. Who is this woman? Griselda Lopez was the second wife of El Chapo Guzman. Little is known about her, except that she was identified by the Office of Foreign Assets Control as an operator of the Sinaloa Cartel. In addition, in May 2010, she was captured and transferred to the Office of the Special Prosecutor for Organized Crime Investigation, although she was released under the reservation of the law after giving her statement. She seems to be considered a fugitive from justice ever since. Griselda's other children are Joaquin Guzman, alias El Moreno, wanted by the DEA. Griselda Guadalupe Guzman Lopez, who apparently stays away from drug trafficking. And Edgar Guzman Lopez, who was assassinated in 2008 at the age of 22, by a group of armed hitmen in a shopping center in the same city of Culiacan. The news about the capture of Ovidio Guzman, the son of Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, has caused a wave of violence in Sinaloa, Mexico. According to reports, there were roadblocks, fires, shootings, and shots fired at an Aeromexico plane. In addition, Guzman's arrest has left at least 2 dead and 18 injured. Ovidio Guzman is considered one of the leaders of the Sinaloa Cartel, and has been wanted by U.S. authorities on drug distribution charges in that country from 2008 to 2018, along with his brother Joaquin Guzman Lopez. He was captured in the municipality of Culiacan, in northern Mexico, and is part of one of the factions of the cartel known as Los Menores, in reference to the sons of El Chapo. Guzman's arrest took place on the eve of President Joe Biden's visit to Mexico, and more than 3 years after a botched capture that was a humiliating defeat for the Mexican armed forces. On that occasion, the members of the cartel took to the streets heavily armed, sowed chaos with shootings, took the military hostage and ended up forcing the release of the son of the capo in just 4 hours of terror. President Andrés Manuel López Obrador said he ordered their release to save lives. Now, how did Ovidio Guzman turn Sinaloa into a war zone? To understand him, we must analyze his life story and how he got to this point. Born in the 1990s, Ovidio Guzman grew up watching his father operate a multi-million-dollar cartel. Guzman's parents enrolled him in Colegio Montfort, a private and exclusive school in Culiacan, Sinaloa. There, Guzman stood out as a good student and sportsman, graduating with honors. However, despite his academic and athletic abilities, Guzman chose to follow in his father's footsteps into the world of drug trafficking. From a young age, he was trained to be a cartel leader, and has been involved in the family business for much of his life. In 2012, the United States Drug Enforcement Agency charged Guzman and his brother with participating in a conspiracy to distribute cocaine, methamphetamine, and marijuana in the United States from 2008 to 2018. The indictment also included their father, El Chapo, who was arrested in 2016 and later extradited to the United States. Since the capture of El Chapo, Ovidio and his brothers began to diversify their portfolio from the Sinaloa Cartel, acquiring significant quantities of ephedrine, a vital ingredient in methamphetamine production, to process the substance into methamphetamine and distribute the finished product to criminal distributors in Mexico, the United States and Canada. Despite the fact that El Chapo was sentenced to life in prison in July 2019, Lopez continued on, becoming the heir to his father's cartel and making Sinaloa a war zone. In April 2019, a federal grand jury in Washington, D.C. indicted Ovidio and his brother Ivan with planning to distribute more than 5 kilograms of cocaine, 1,000 kilograms of cannabis, and 500 grams of methamphetamine. Both brothers were detained by the Mexican authorities in October, but Ivan managed to defeat the soldiers and summoned hundreds of hitmen to protect Lopez in Culiacan. The house where Lopez was staying was besieged by Mexican forces, and after a heavy firefight, he was eventually captured. However, the war was far from over. Lopez's capture triggered a series of events that shook the country and called into question the ability of the Mexican government to deal with drug trafficking. Hitmen from the Sinaloa Cartel took to the streets of Culiacan, setting fire to vehicles and government buildings, and sowing terror in the city. Faced with unchecked violence, Mexican security forces decided to release Lopez to prevent a further massacre. Cartel members reportedly intercepted a radio channel used by security personnel, warning of reprisals against the military if Lopez was not released. Days later, the president of Mexico went on to criticize conservative politicians for profiting from coverage of the event. It was reported that at least 30 cars were set on fire throughout Baja California, effectively shutting down commerce and travel for a few hours before things could get back under control. Jalisco Nueva Generation Cartel were circulating on social media, stating that the gang was implementing a curfew. The letter advised homeowners to run back to their homes or risk attack. Where is Ovidio Guzman Lopez? Following the attempted arrest at his home, Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador defended his decision to release Ovidio Guzman Lopez, claiming he did it to safeguard citizens, according to media sources. However, this decision has generated great controversy in the country, since many consider that the release of an alleged criminal sends the wrong message and encourages impunity in the country. In addition, it has generated concern among the population due to the growing violence in the country and the feeling of lack of control on the part of the authorities. While El Chapo is still serving a life sentence plus an additional 30 years in the ADX Florence Supermax prison, Colorado in the United States, the whereabouts of Lopez Guzman, Ivan Guzman and Ismael Zambala Garcia continue to baffle the Mexican and U.S. authorities. The U.S. government, according to media sources, has offered a $5 million reward for relevant information leading to each of their arrests. The Mexican government has been heavily criticized for its handling of the situation, and many wonder if the fight against drug trafficking has been lost. The situation remains tense and alarming, as the Sinaloa Cartel remains one of the largest and most powerful criminal organizations in the world, and its ability to sow chaos and violence remains a latent threat. Concussion. The sons of El Chapo Guzman have taken violence to a more terrifying level in Sinaloa, unleashing a war in which thousands of people have died. The recent arrest and release of Ovidio Guzman Lopez has generated much controversy, as a new war has broken out in the state. It is a reality that the Guzman family has made violence, intimidation and drugs their way of life in this story of power, business and cruelty. The future of the case is uncertain. We will continue to report on this and other topics of interest. Don't forget to like and subscribe to be aware of our next posts. Until next time.